Hello everybody and welcome along to Snetterton for round 2 of the Vortex Dunlop Ford Fiesta Championship. 23 cars qualifying here on the 300 circuit in Norfolk, and that's going to mean we're going to have some frenetic race action coming up. Here's the grid: David Elsley on pole, Dan Holland alongside, then Lee Napolitano and Curtis Mitchell on row 2. They're followed by Nick Bowers, Andrew Foley on the outside of row 3, then it's Aaron Trigwell and Charlie Liddell, Jordan Annells and Joe Ferguson on the 5th row. They're followed by Matt Foley and Bobby Thompson. Then it's Kevin Sterling and Sean Clay, Josh Reed and Rex Nye on the 8th row, Joanne Eason and Nathan Lawley on row 9, Ronaldo Stabressa and Nick Barton on the 10th row. They're followed by Rory Green, Sagir Hussain and Dawn Boyd. Dawn Boyd in red, you can see Rory Green in green. Very appropriate, and Sagir Hussain in the Danoff vodka car, his teammate Ronaldo Stabressa alongside him as well. But already the car's underway and jockeying for position as they go down to Riches for the first time. Daniel Holland gets a great start. He's the white car on the right and he actually leads the championship leader David Elsley through Riches. There is Andrew Foley in 88 involved in the mix as well. Cracking start. Now, is everybody going to get through? It looks like they have. Dawn Boyd's got ahead of Rory Green and David Elsley sweeping around the outside line to try and pass the race leader Daniel Holland. There's the battling down the back of the field. Car number 26, Nathan Lawley, up ahead of Rory Green at the moment as well. Nick Bowers is there, 34. New driver in the championship, Joe Ferguson. You'll see that car in action in the Junior Championship, our sister programme, as Elsley looks round the outside line. Now this is an unusual overtake, outside line, but he gets squeezed out by Daniel Holland, the race leader. Now normally the inside is the traditional racing line there, but Elsley has to content himself at the moment with second position. The man who took 2 wins at Rockingham in our opening round, he goes round the outside again. Elsley side by side with Holland as they go into Williams' corner. Sorry, out of Oggie's corner, down towards Williams now where they rejoin the main straight. The rest of the field looking very impressive here. In wonderful sunshine after such a miserable winter. Somebody's off, it's Rex Nye. Rex Nye in 44 is the first casualty of the race. Oh, bitter disappointment for him as we go on board with Jordan Annells passing Matt Foley. Down the back straight they go. Plenty of overtaking opportunities here right the way round the 3-mile 300 circuit. And Jordan Annells joins the championship. Raced with us last year, of course. And running well in the number 5 car. Looking to, of course, get up towards the podium. He qualified in 9th place, and I think he's improved on that just a little bit, but it's still Dan Holland who's out front at the moment, car number 9. David Elsley in 2nd position, the former champion, trying to make it 3 wins out of 3. Comes along the centre straight for the second time. And he's found a bit of competition. This is great news for the championship. Not so good for David. Through he goes. What an impressive sight and indeed sound. I love that shot from the pit wall. If ever you get the chance to watch a motor race from the pit wall of any of our wonderful racing circuits, and this is the view from Andrew Foley in car number 88. And it looks like he's been passed. Nick Bowers goes past. So Nick Bowers makes it past. Bowers up then into 4th position. That's cracking stuff from him, and Andrew Foley's going to try and fight back. Out of the bomb hole down in towards Coram. That's exactly the sort of move you keep chipping away. Ultimately that's the sort of thing that could very much earn Nick Bowers the championship title towards the end of the year. As we said, we've got a long way to go. David Elsley looks very good at the moment, but it is about the whole season, and just one pass like that can do it. You can see up ahead Lee Napolitano running in 4th place, and then up ahead of him Daniel Holland. Down the centre straight they go again. Now, has Foley got an answer for Nick Bowers? You can see how close they get to the pit wall here. So buzzing the wall, now out to the left-hand side of the track. Racing line, into Rich's corner they go. There is Bowers going through. There is the man we were on board with, the TWS car of Andrew Foley, who looks like he's had to cede the place for the moment, so regain his thoughts and maybe have another go. But back to the leaders, and it's a scrap on for second position, because Daniel Holland's starting to put Curtis Mitchell under big pressure here as they came out of Montreal, heading down towards Palma. A little bit of breathing space between themselves and Lee Napolitano in fourth. Nick Bowers up into fifth now. Bowers and then Andrew Foley, and an even bigger gap between those guys and the chasing pack. Kevin Sterling, Jordan and Els and company, but Elsley's got enough breathing space at the moment to probably maybe feel that the race is his now. I mean, at mid-distance you've got a lot to worry about, but he'll see in his mirrors this pair battling over second position. So Daniel Holland is going to take a first podium, but Andrew Foley isn't finished yet and looks up the inside of Nick Bowers, and he goes through, reclaims the pace. Well, we said when he went through Montreal a lap or so ago that it was really a question of building up the momentum and having another go. Those two drivers very evenly matched. The white and green cars, you could just see them under the second of the three T's in Snetterton, and Bowers is coming out for a wide line again. Still the scrap on for second. Curtis Mitchell in second position. David Elsley leads. Lee Napolitano trying to get himself on the back of this scrap for second. He's in fourth place at the moment in blue and yellow. And then Nick Bowers and Andrew Foley come into shot. There they are. It's still Foley that holds that position. It's arguably stopping either of those drivers with of getting in the chance of catching the lead bunch if they work together. And I suspect if the Foley brothers were together, they'd probably work and use a little bit of the drafting effect here on the long straights to try and reel in the cars in front. Elsley, Mitchell, Holland in third place. Foley and Bowers go across the line in fifth and sixth position. And Dan Holland is going to be a maiden podium for him in the championship. Curtis Mitchell running well. The 23 car in second place. It's going to be a maiden podium for him as well. But David Elsley, still in his 20s as well, just 26 years of age. So plenty of racing years ahead of him. And I dare say a few steps up the ladder if opportunity affords, or if the opportunity presents itself in the coming seasons. We'll wait and see whether that's the case. As we mentioned, the drivers from the Fiesta Championship have done so well. When you look at what the drivers that have moved up, Mike Bushell, for example, moving up into the Clio Cup and delivering now. But here's the battle, and Bowers is back in front of Foley. So Nick Bowers is back in front, but Foley's looking at the inside line. It's the inside line coming out of the corner. Agostini where they were. It's inside as well for the next corner, but he cedes it back under the tailgate off the car in front. So Nick Bowers has managed to get himself up into fifth position. Andrew Foley in sixth. Now this is where we saw Foley put the manoeuvre on Bowers last time out, and of course when they rejoin the main straight, he's got the big drag down the Bentley straight and might be able to make it stick. But for the last time, David Elsley is there in lead position. If we look at the progression of race results across the season, it's going to be win and fastest lap at Rockingham round 1, win and fastest lap at Rockingham round 2, and at the moment win and fastest lap here at round 3 in Snetterton. But we're focused on the battle for fifth. Nick Bowers is still there. Bowers in fifth position. Andrew Foley a couple of lengths behind. It's going to be, I think, a last gasp effort for him at Murray's corner. We've got the sweep at Coram, which is the entry we're looking at now. Here they go into Coram. At the other end of the corner, it's David Elsley, who's driven superbly. Didn't have things his own way because it was Daniel Holland that got the best start and led through those opening few corners before David Elsley decided to stamp his authority on it. And it's the number 39 car, David Elsley, the Martini stripes. He can win anytime, any place, anywhere. There's the checker for him. Holland takes third position behind Curtis Mitchell. Lee Napolitano next. Nick Bowers is fifth ahead of Andrew Foley. Aaron Trigwell gets seventh position. In actual fact, there's a change to the result because Daniel Holland excluded for ride height failure. So it's Elsley from Mitchell, Lee Napolitano, Nick Bowers, Andy Foley, Aaron Trigwell sixth ahead of Kevin Sterling, Jordan and Els in eighth. Then Matt Foley and the Chorn Clay, Josh Reed in 11th place from Charlie Liddell, last year's junior champion, acquitting himself well once again. Then it was Nathan Lawley, Ronaldo de Bressa, Joanne Easton 15th, ahead of Bobby Thompson, Rory Green in 17th, Sigir Hussain in 18th. 19th place, Lady Racer Dawn Boyd, of course the non-finishers, Nick Barton, Joe Ferguson and Rex Nye.
Well, a very happy man down here in the podium area. David Elsley, great start to the year, 3 out of 3 so far, and your first race victory here at Snetterton today.
Absolutely, yeah, I mean an amazing return to the series really. To be here in such sunny weather and to be on the top step of the podium in the BCS Global Fiesta ST is it's amazing really, couldn't have asked for much more.
And it was kind of another hard race for you because the guys behind, they weren't making it easy at all.
No, not at all. My counterpart on the front row got the better of me off the start, just nipped me into turn 1. But obviously it's quite a long lap here at Snetterton, so I thought bide my time and see if we can just make a nice clean move and get by him. The car was brilliant, I have to say, in the early stages of the race, and I was able to make a move. But then, as you say, I kept looking in my mirror and there was a fierce battle raging behind, so I knew I had to keep the pressure on and keep pushing forward.
Well, congratulations on race 1 victory. Good luck for race 2 as well.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Want to keep up with all the racing action at the track? Well, download the new GoRacingTV iPhone and Android app. And remember to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Round 3 of the 2013 Dunlop Vortex Ford Fiesta Championship, classes A, B and D taking to the grid, and pole position man is David Abbott. Alongside him, Jack Williams, then it's Alan Donnelly and Ken Bateman on row 2, Andrew Mollison and Ian Scruton on the 3rd row. They're followed by Peter Dendy Sadler with Keith Chapman, then it's Peter Lloyd and Mike Hooper at the back of the grid. So 10 cars split away from the Class Cs, a huge entry overall in the Fiesta Championship, and the A, Bs and Ds getting their own bite of the cherry. It's a great start from David Abbott, who gets away from Jack Williams on the outside in blue, and the older class car is taking the battle to the new flagship Class D machine side by side as they go round Riches, down towards the hairpin at Montreal they go. But it's David Abbott that emerges in front, Williams in 2nd place, Alan Donnelly there in green is 3rd, Ian Scruton trying to get around the outside of Ken Bateman in 55, that he's done, and now looking at the inside of Alan Donnelly's car. But the race leader is David Abbott, Jack Williams keeping him pretty honest at the moment, everybody through safe and well. Keith Chapman in red down towards the back of the field, dicing with Peter Lloyd, the black and gold car. I think we've got Mike Hooper at the back of the field. A little bit of work to do for Mike to catch up with the other cars that are there. But it's the Class D car that leads away. Still the solitary car in the classes. There are other cars that have been built by various teams, but I think waiting for drivers. So David Abbott out front, Jack Williams in 2nd place, Alan Donnelly in 3rd, followed by Ian Scruton. Then it's the class leader for Class B, Ken Bateman. Alan Donnelly gets past by Ian Scruton, so the green machine finds himself down in 3rd place. This is going to give Scruton a clear run at Jack Williams in the blue car, who's coming offline, and look at the audacity of the Class A man. The bigger power of the car down the straight is going for the lead as they go into Brundle, but David Abbott's having none of that. And well, previous drivers, Andy Wilmot said the handling of the Class D car superior to the A's and B's, and that seemed to show there as he went into Brundle, plus the driving ability of David Abbott. Holds on to lead position into Coram for the first time. What's happened? Alan Donnelly's dropped back now behind Ian Scruton. I think he's lost another place as well. There go the first 3. Where's Donnelly? He's lost another place. I think there might be something amiss with the car. So Ian Scruton in 3rd and trying to close down on Jack Williams in the 20 machine. Class pole position today for Williams, so he'll be very pleased with that, as up across the line to complete lap 1 goes the 4 times Fiesta champion, David Abbott, the man from Surrey, who's got a good lead. Now, I heard the pit lane siren going off in the background, and I think that indicates that it is a problem for Alan Donnelly, who is out of the race in his Fiesta SI, and that leaves a 3-way scrap at the head of the field. Quick look then at car number 77, Andrew Mollison, qualified second in class behind Ken Bateman, and he had a pretty good debut car race meeting at Rockingham. The 24-year-old from Kent taking 2 podia and 2 fastest laps as well, so very clearly this young man's got the talent, and it's useful for him to come up against the likes of Ken Bateman in car number 55, who secured class pole. There's Ken in the white and red car. The white and blue car with the stripes is the chaser, and that's the newcomer to the championship. But David Abbott still out front, the lone class D car. I have to say that the race circuit here at Snetterton, 300 circuit, really does lend itself to multi-class racing. And if you think about the types of car we've got on offer here, you've got the 1800cc Mark IIIs, the cars that were originally built in the mid-90s, and we'll come back to classes in a minute as we go on board with Ian Scruton. Ian, the winner of round 1 of the championship, second position overall to David Abbott, and a great view of the battle going on with Jack Williams again getting very close to David Abbott. The 1800cc cars here, we're on board with one of the 1800s, we've got another one in front, and the 1600 Zetec S, the 3-door Zetec S Mark 7 Fiesta that leads. Relative newcomers to the championship. As we said, Dendy Sadler did 4 races last year. Peter Lloyd did 3 meetings with us, and we go on board with Peter once again. So Lloyd, out of those 6 races he did last year, just the 1 retirement, and it looks like he's well on his way to another finish here. Under the bridge, down into Brundles again, closing up, so we're probably going to expect the Class B car to be a little bit more effective around the twists and turns. And Peter Dendy Sadler in the Class A 1800cc car getting away on the main straight, which we saw on the previous lap when he grabbed that 5th position back, and he's looking for 3rd place in class, a potential podium on for him here. And you can see now Peter Lloyd closing in, he's going to have a go, looks at the outside line, that's going to convert to the inside as they come along centre straight, but he can't quite get through. And now he's got Keith Chapman coming up to have a go as well. So Keith Chapman took a win last year at Rockingham, won fastest lap last year as well, so he knows all about getting up onto the podium. So in terms of Class B, the black and gold car and the red machine you can see there squabbling over 2nd and 3rd in class. Mike Hooper 4th at the moment in Class B. Haven't seen too much of Mike in this one. Neither have we in the mid stages of the race of David Abbott, who's there. Ian Scruton still in 2nd position. Both of those guys with fastest laps. David Abbott the fastest lap overall. Ian Scruton fastest lap in class on lap 7, 2:24.9. Abbott with the 2:24.8. Ian trying to close in as best he can. 3rd position in the race, hopefully we'll be able to see. Now, it was Jack Williams earlier on. So through the bomb hole goes Ian Scruton, and now starts to go around into Coram. Into Coram now as the bomb hole the previous corner that he was in, so this is the long sweeper, and he's chasing hard. He hasn't given up the thought of perhaps taking an overall win, so still going around Coram, now coming down in towards Murray's. Outside line here, goes across, grabs the apex, losing a little bit of ground on the Zetec S in front of him, and into the closing stages of the race now. Scruton, again, very well aware of what's going on in his mirrors, and now we get to see ourselves what's behind him. There's Alan Donnelly's car in pit lane, but onto the last lap, David Abbott. Across onto the last line goes Ian Scruton. There's a massive gap back now to 3rd place. We seem to have lost Jack Williams. I don't know if he's had an off, but Jack Williams clearly not in the picture of challenging for class honours. And Scruton, fastest lap in class. It's going to be a 2nd class win of the season for him. David Abbott, of course, thus far hasn't had any competition in Class D, but he's going to be worrying about these overall race wins at the moment, and he's delivered on all counts so far. This is going to be 3 out of 3 for him. 3 pole positions, 3 wins, 3 fastest laps overall in the races as well. And this great looking car, it really does look like a slightly scaled down touring car. It really is the business. And he comes into Agostini for the last time. It's been a super drive by Ian Scruton. We saw a great overtake down at Palmer's earlier on, and he's kept the Ford Fiesta veteran very much on his toes throughout the 20 minutes of this race. 20 minutes has indeed now elapsed, and the race distance is going to be 9 laps, so this is the 9th tour. The clock finally ticked off after they crossed the line, so they get that extra lap. So they're probably looking about 22 minutes of racing time, so a little bit of a bonus for them. And it is David Abbott that leads. The gap just a couple of seconds over Ian Scruton at the moment. Andrew Mollison is leading Class B, and that's going to be a first class win for him. He's going to grab the fastest lap as well, 2:28.338. Here's the view as the cars come down the straight. I don't think we're going to see anybody else in shot before the top 2 cars turn in. We pan around with the number 3 car of David Abbott, the Surrey-based man in his 60s, but still knows how to race, still knows how to win races. Out of the bomb hole, down into Coram for the last time. Is he going to be able to make it a perfect weekend by securing another victory in race 2? That remains to be seen, but he hasn't got too far to go now to get the checkered flag. The sun shines on us here at Snetterton. It's shining on David Abbott and the man behind him who's going to win Class A, Ian Scruton. It's a Class D victory, though, in this one for David Abbott. Here he comes down centre straight for the last time. Checkered flag is at the ready. And there it is. Abbott now across the line, takes the checkered flag. Ian Scruton in second position. Third place is some way back. That's going to be Andrew Mollison. Let's take a look at the official result. David Abbott, 3 wins out of 3 overall. Ian Scruton takes the class win, as does Andrew Mollison, his first in Class B. Jack Williams comes home 4th from Peter Dendy Sadler. He got the better of Peter Lloyd to take 5th position. 7th was Keith Chapman, and the 8th finisher was Mike Hooper. Ken Bateman not classified as a finisher, and Alan Donnelly of course went out after lap 1.
Okay, then down on the podium we've got our top 3 from that classes A, B and D Ford Fiesta race. We'll get David Abbott over here for a quick chat, a little bit of a water after a hard fought race there. David, cracking race out there. We saw you having a nice gap at Rockingham, but here at Snetterton it gets closer and closer with your challengers.
Yeah, these SIs are pretty quick in a straight line, and a couple of times I had to fight down the back straight to stay ahead. But yeah, I had to work hard for that, apart from the last 2 laps.
Yeah, and then towards the end, as you said, it kind of all dropped off. But you're kind of willing a few more competitors out for your class, because it would be nice to have a little bit of competition for yourself.
Yeah, well, there are 5 cars built, but unfortunately they're not all here. We need people to get in the cars. But motor racing is not cheap, and economy is obviously a bit of a problem at the moment. But Daniels Motorsport have built 3 cars. We've got 2 cars for rent, so let's get someone in the cars.
Some of the biggest upheavals in American sports is in the world of motor racing, especially sports car racing. There's mergers, new series being proposed, audiences coming and going, drivers getting younger and younger. That's why you need the Racing Insiders on MAV TV to help you navigate the turmoil. The Racing Insiders is a new, weekly, 30-minute news show covering sports car racing, whether it's being done professionally, globally, or by the local grassroots club. Award-winning journalist Bill Wood will host the weekly discussions, along with race-winning insiders Peter Keene in Florida and Jim Daniels in Tennessee. It's a fast-paced, edgy sports show. They'll even reach out to guest insiders to bring you behind-the-scenes insider information you'll want to know. This new era in sports car racing needs the Racing Insiders.
The Racing Insiders on MAV TV, Thursdays at 2 and 5 p.m. Eastern, and again on Saturdays at noon.
So it's Elsley and Mitchell on the front row of the grid, with Lee Napolitano and Nick Bowers row 2, Andrew Foley and Aaron Trigwell on the third row. They're followed by Kevin Sterling and Jordan Annells, Matt Foley and Sean Clay on row 5, row 6 Josh Reed and Charlie Liddell. Then it's Nathan Lawley and Ronaldo Stabressa, Joanne Eason and Bobby Thompson, Rory Green and Sagir Hussain. The grid completed by Dawn Boyd, Nick Barton, Joe Ferguson, Rex Knight. Dan Holland, after his exclusion from the first race, will line up 23rd. So Dan with some work to do. You can see him in the white car, the green wheels at the back of the field. 5-second board going out for another 20 minutes of Vortex Dunlop Ford Fiesta Championship action. Class C, away they go. Elsley and Mitchell on the front row of the grid. Who's going to get the run? It looks like a pretty even start. That should give David Elsley the run down into riches for the first time. Lee Napolitano is third. On his outside is Nick Bowers, who of course starts fourth after being promoted from fifth. Napolitano, I think, bumped the curb. Back coming out, that's Joanne Eason, who's gone off. Car number 6, one of our two lady racers. Looks like the car's okay, so hopefully Joanne will continue. The Danoff twins there, Ronaldo Stabressa in car number 69 and car number 1, Sagir Hussain, enjoying their racing as we look at Joanne Eason at the back. I think Joanne's going to call it a day. That's very disappointing. So perhaps saving the car for the second junior race. We look at Bobby Thompson chasing after Dawn Boyd, second of the lady racers in the championship. Now the Foleys are together on track. It's Andrew Foley leading Matt, Andrew in the white car, Matt in the lighter blue and yellow car. In fact, he's looking up the inside to see if he can pass his brother as they go through Hamilton. But out front, Nick Bowers has got ahead of Curtis Mitchell, so Bowers up into second position. But race leader David Elsley is clear. Curtis Mitchell in third. Then it's Lee Napolitano. Just caught a glimpse of the red car of Nick Barton going through. Last year's champion in the Z-Tech class, making the move up. And we go on board with Andrew Foley. Trying to have a look here at the fourth place car, Lee Napolitano, it is there. So Foley comes to the outside line. This will be a sweeper down into Brundle Corner. I think a little bit too far back to challenge, but remember he's got his brother behind him as well. Another blue and yellow car. Slightly different shades of blue, of course, for Matt Foley, but Andrew Foley continues to give us a terrific view of what it's like from the driver's perspective, the speeds and of course how close these cars get on circuit, aside from when David Elsley is out front and pulling away. So Elsley in the lead, Nick Bowers second, Curtis Mitchell we're looking at in third place, ahead of Lee Napolitano. The white car there is the machine that we were on board with a moment ago. Andrew Foley chasing hard, and the race leaders on to complete another lap. I was tempted to say down the centre straight, but it's a climb up, a very slight climb, and then a run down the other side. Napolitano coming under pressure from Curtis Mitchell, so a switch from the grid positions happening here as Mitchell finds himself down in fourth place. Rest of the field going through at Riches. Oh, and contact there, Dawn Boyd is at Rory Green. Dawn Boyd and Rory Green out. So Green in the green car, Dawn Boyd in the red car, which flicked around to the inside of the circuit. Both of those, let's hope they can rejoin. But here's the battle of the Foley brothers. It was Andrew who got the honours in the first race, and at the moment he's got his nose in front, but it looks like Matt Foley is taking the challenge to him. Matt in the 82 car, inside line as they come to Agostini, and he's through. Matt Foley up into fifth position. Andrew Foley down to sixth. Seventh place is Kevin Sterling, and then one of the WDE cars chasing them hard. But down through Hamilton they go, and Andrew Foley, who thoroughly enjoyed his scrap in race number 1 with Nick Bowers, will be ruining the fact that he's some way back down from Bowers, who's in second place at the moment. Back on board now with Nick Barton in car number 28, who wants to try and get the position back from Sean Clay. Well, that was a classic piece of Fiesta motor racing. That's the sort of action that you can get to see should you come and watch the racing with us. Our next round is at Silverstone in a few weeks' time, and round the outside now goes Nick Barton. So this race well and truly alive, but what a cracking manoeuvre by Joe Ferguson, who pulls up into 10th position now. Charlie Liddell is ahead of him. So Ferguson in 10th. Sean Clay 11th. We're on board with the 12th place man, Nick Barton. Now Daniel Holland's making progress through the field. Remember, he was third on the road in the first race and started at the back in this one. And he's overtaking cars and I think enjoying his race here, making very good progress. So Dan Holland, having taken 25th in the first race at Rockingham, a non-finish in the second one, be looking to make more progress. A little bit of dust being kicked up in the distance. It's not from the race leader, so thought for a moment we were going to have more drama with the race leaders, but Nick Bowers still out front leading this one. This has been a good race for him. Remember, he started down in 4th position, the outside of row 2, chipped away, got up into 2nd, so he did some hard work in terms of overtaking. Then David Elsley slipped back down the field. Now David's still running. He's in 15th place at the moment, just behind Bobby Thompson. So David Elsley will keep it going. He'll know that even a 15th place points score, however small that may be, might be the difference between the championship and 2nd position at the end of the season. That's why he keeps going. There he goes through. So Elsley ahead of Rex Nye was the second of the red cars that we saw go through. Rex, of course, DNF'd in the first race. Back with the Foleys, who look in fine fettle, I've got to say. Curtis Mitchell, 3rd position. Then it's Andrew Foley back ahead of Matt Foley, followed by Aaron Trigwell, who remember was second coming in, joint second with Nick Bowers coming into this round. So it's going to be David Elsley, I think, still the championship leader, possibly. Actually, we'll have to check that out on points. Maybe Nick Bowers now, because he's had only one finish off the podium. So Nick Bowers could find himself as the championship leader, leaving us here at Snetterton. Fastest lap of the race so far is with Lee Napolitano, car number 24, at 2 minutes 17.411, a little bit off the pace from the race earlier, but things are cooling down now, and it's heading on towards 6 o'clock here this afternoon at Snetterton, so slightly cooler than it was earlier on in the day, and the race time's not as good. But you can see now Lee Napolitano in 2nd place. He has got the fastest lap and he's closing in on the race leader. So we're getting up towards the closing stages, and Napolitano is very definitely getting things on. A 78-mile-an-hour lap from Napolitano, who puts a challenge on to Bowers as they go into Riches. Well, I don't think that was a real move for the lead, but he stuck his nose out just to let the race leader know that he wants to come through. Down to the hairpin at Montreal. Look at the gap between the two. Closes up, as you'd expect, under braking. Napolitano probably too far back at the moment to do anything. And let's see whether he's better on the open spaces of the circuit or the twists and turns of this infield section. So just about 2.5 miles left here at Snetterton of round 4 of the Vortex Dunlop Ford Fiesta Championship, and it's Nick Bowers who looks like he's going to break the stranglehold of David Elsley, but he's got Lee Napolitano behind him. There's a gap back to 3rd. Curtis Mitchell still there in 3rd. It's going to be a 2nd podium of the weekend for Curtis, but the other places, the lead place being keenly fought. So down towards Hamilton. Hamilton's the left-hander, then it's the right-hand around to Oggies, then down towards Williams. They're coming up to Oggies now. Bowers is there, still trying to gauge whether Napolitano's quicker on the twists and turns or whether he's got more outright speed. As they went down into the hairpin of Montreal, it suggested to me that Bowers was slightly quicker on the wide open spaces, and Napolitano at the moment can't quite get close enough. Down the Bentley straight for the last time. Still some more overtaking possibilities. One is going to be at the end of the straight. Now they're coming around here. Napolitano is closing up as they went through Murray's that time, and it's the run now down towards the checkered flag, but surely Nick Bowers has got it. He's done enough to take the win, his first win of the season, and he flashes his lights. He's even got time to do that. Lee Napolitano, an excellent second place and confirmed as fastest lap at the moment. Third place, Curtis Mitchell, Andrew Foley, Matt Foley, Aaron Trigwell. A little bit of a gap. Here's Jordan Annells, who's going to finish in 7th place. Then Kevin Sterling, last year's junior champion. Charlie Liddell crosses the line ahead of Joe Ferguson. Then it's Sean Clay, Nick Barton, Daniel Holland ahead of Bobby Thompson. David Elsley comes home in 15th position. Then it's Josh Reed, Rex Nye, Ronaldus de Bresser and the rest of the field coming through. It's been a cracking 2 races here at Snetterton, with Nick Bowers taking his first win of the year and being kept very honest right the way to the flag by young Lee Napolitano. That's the way they finish. Bowers, Napolitano gets fastest lap and second. Curtis Mitchell third from Andrew Foley, again getting Foley family honours ahead of Matthew, with Aaron Trigwell in 6th place. 7th was Jordan Annells, then Kevin Sterling and Charlie Liddell. Joe Ferguson 10th from Sean Clay. Nick Barton in 12th place. We saw some great onboard action from him throughout the meeting. Daniel Holland came through right from the back up to 13th ahead of Bobby Thompson. Then it was David Elsley, good damage limitation from him. Josh Reed 16th from Rex Nye, then Ronaldus de Bresser 18th. 19th Sagir Hussain, and 20th place Nathan Lawley. Hard lines to non-finishers, Dawn Boyd, Rory Green and Joanne Eason.
Nicholas, well done on that one. It was kind of a good race there. You had the advantage up front, and then you had pressure right towards the end from Lee Napolitano.
Yeah, had a great start, great first lap, managed to get ahead of Curtis, and then start chasing David down. I think all of a sudden he lost a lot of pace. His car must have had an issue. Managed to pull a bit of a lead on Lee, but then my tyres started to go a little bit, and he just came into his element, started reeling me in, but just managed to hold him off for the last lap. So great job to Daniels Motorsport for preparing the car, and yeah, great race.
Want to keep up with all the racing action at the track? Well, download the new GoRacingTV iPhone and Android app. And remember to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Cars on the grid for their second outing here at Snetterton. Remember, we're back at Snetterton later on in the season, 21st of July, if you want to make a date in your diary. But in the meantime, let's have a look at the grid. The starting order is the finishing from race 1. Abbott and Scruton on the front row, Mollison and Williams on row 2, then Peter Dendy Sadler and Peter Lloyd on row 3, Keith Chapman and Mike Cooper on the 4th row, and our 2 non-finishers from race 1, Ken Bateman and Alan Donnelly starting at the back of the field. Everybody looking in good order. Green flag at the back. We get the 5-second board, and the lights on the gantry are on now. And away they go. It's a cracking start. Now this time, of course, Ian Scruton a little bit closer to David Abbott, so we'll see whether he can take the battle to him as they come down into the right-hander at Riches for the first time. Scruton in yellow and red has got the outside sweeper. Alan Donnelly's made electric progress. Great start from Donnelly, the green car, I think up into 4th position. Yes, he is. Donnelly from the back of the grid into 4th. Now down to the hairpin for the first time. We're on board with Class B winner Andy Mollison. And there's Ken Bateman, non-finisher in race 1. He is following Donnelly through the field. So it's a cracking start by Ken Bateman round the outside. And I think that's the class lead, incredibly, for Ken Bateman in Class B. What a great start. Andrew Mollison must be wondering what's happening here. Mollison with win and fastest lap. There he is, he goes through. A little bit of work to do for him. The white and green car at the back, Mike Hooper, and there in car number 12 is Peter Lloyd, the man with whom we enjoyed several excellent onboard laps earlier on. Alan Donnelly up into 3rd place and past the blue machine of Jack Williams. Ken Bateman wants to get involved as well. Andrew Mollison, 3rd in race number 1, suddenly finds himself a fair way down the field. Peter Dendy Sadler in Class A is up with him, and Bateman having a good run here, and Bateman up at the inside line as they go through Oggies. Great move by Ken Bateman, the first pass we've seen at Oggies. Not saying there haven't been other passes there, but that's the first one we've seen on camera this weekend. So Alan Donnelly up to 2nd in class, 3rd in the race in green. There is Ken Bateman 55. So the drivers who had non-finishes in race 1 seem to be having more luck, and now the 1800cc car working well past the 1400cc car. That's one that we're on board with at the moment. Andy Mollison comes from Borough Green. Mollison dropping a little bit of ground now, so that's not too good for him as they go through Murray's and head down the centre straight once again. So the battle for the lead of class seems to be settled in the way of Ken Bateman. This is the view again from Mollison. A little bit of traffic up front for them to deal with. It was Alan Donnelly, wasn't it, that's been kicking up that dirt, and Donnelly doing the same again. He's lost a bit of ground on Ian Scruton, as you can see. So Alan Donnelly running second in Class A. As you can see, a decent Class B car on this type of circuit can live with those cars. We're in towards the closing stages of the race now, and Bateman's having a go. This is the battle for third place. So Bateman having a look at Alan Donnelly. Remember, both of these guys were non-finishers in race 1. Donnelly runs wide, and Bateman points the car up the inside to try and take third place. But Donnelly's got a little bit more power. He's got a slightly better line out of the corner as well. Now through Hamilton. What can Bateman do about this? Mollison's closing up as well. These two cars undoubtedly in front, but slowing each other up. Donnelly's got the line. Bateman runs wide, and Andy Mollison's through. It's a 4th position. Very well read by Andy Mollison. Saw that one coming, nipped through on the inside. Ken Bateman loses a place, and that's the class lead. So the Class B lead now with Andy Mollison. Is he going to be able to make it a double here at Snetterton? He'll be dead chuffed if he can, because this time it's not down to problems with Ken Bateman. He's overtaken Bateman fair and square. Bateman getting hooked up in battle there with Alan Donnelly, who retains 2nd position in class and retains 3rd position overall in the race. It's still David Abbott in the number 3 car that leads the race, and I look into the distance, you can see the cars, the lead cars over and away in lead position, probably about 4 or 5 seconds clear of these two cars. Andy Mollison leading Class B, and the man who's in 2nd position in Class A in front of him, there he is, the man from Cookstown in Northern Ireland, English by birth but bases himself in Northern Ireland. And significantly, car number 55, Ken Bateman, is not finished either. Well, he might be if he carries on doing that over the dirt, and Ken Bateman's going to be very frustrated about what's happened to him. Down across the line, Bateman down in 2nd in class. There's the race leader, David Abbott. Ian Scruton in 2nd, and that gives you the gap, 2nd to 3rd. Here comes Alan Donnelly now, down into Rich's corner. I think he's pretty much safe. Now, Donnelly's got the fastest lap in Class A, 2 minutes 26.25. David Abbott, fastest man overall, 2 minutes 26.2. And Andy Mollison, 2:27.099. So Donnelly, despite being the fastest of the Class A cars, is going to have to, I think, content himself with 2nd position in the race. Doesn't seem to be now able to close in on Ian Scruton, who did, you've got to say, the hard work in the early part of the race, getting off the line, chasing hard, and having a very good go at David Abbott. Scruton was certainly under pressure. There is Ian Scruton turning in the yellow and red car. And here's Alan Donnelly, 2nd in class, 3rd overall, still being chased by Andy Mollison, and Ken Bateman has managed to reel it all back in again. This is exactly what Ken Bateman will do with the experience that he's got. He's been in this position before, lose a little bit of ground, claw it all back, and now Bateman's probably in the best position here because he's got no one behind him. And he's very good on the twists and turns. Looks up the inside line. This is where Mollison nipped past on the previous lap. Bateman points his car up the inside. Is he going to be able to hang on to the line at Williams? No, he can't. Mollison leaves half a gap there. And I think he was just mindful and probably respectful of the driver behind. He doesn't want to cause an accident at this stage of the race to take both of them out. We go back to the start line, and coming up, I think, to start the last lap is going to be David Abbott. Abbott crosses the line. There in 2nd place is Ian Scruton, not as close as he was earlier on. You can see that Alan Donnelly's not that far behind, probably 3.5 seconds behind the man who leads his class. But here's the scrap for Class B, and coming through, it's Ken Bateman. He's got the inside line, and he's made the pass. Ken Bateman's back into the class lead. Andy Mollison, who's still got the fastest lap, is down to 2nd, but David Abbott in the Class D car. He's had 2 very, very good races. He's won them both overall, but he's come under pressure in both of them. In race 1, it was Jack Williams who kept him honest for much of the time, and it was Ian Scruton here, up to about half distance, who really put the pressure. The Hampshire man putting pressure on the Surrey-based veteran who's out front and comes into Agostini for the last time. So David Abbott looking to make it 4 out of 4. Same with the fastest laps, of course, as well as pole positions. So maximum championship points for him. Ian Scruton seemingly on his way to win his class for the 3rd time this year and secure and cement his place at the top of the table, but the battle for Class B is still very much on. Andy Mollison closing up on Ken Bateman once again, and Mollison switching line. Let's see whether he can nip through and grab a second one. He now has really got the measure of Ken Bateman, and this is going to set us up for a superb rest of season between those two. The experience of Ken Bateman in this championship against the newcomer Andy Mollison, but we're now back to the race leader. Here he is, David Abbott. He's done all the hard work. He's through the last corner, past the pit lane, and he'll buzz the pit wall for the checkered flag, which is there, unfurled and dropped on the race winner, David Abbott, who takes the win. Ian Scruton second. Alan Donnelly finishes the meeting in second position in Class B. Class A rather. There's the Class B winner, Ken Bateman, just getting it from Andy Mollison. David Abbott wins overall. He's the lone Class D car. Class A going to Ian Scruton from Alan Donnelly, and Class B, Ken Bateman from Andy Mollison. Peter Dendy-Sadler gets a Class A podium with 3rd place, 6 overall for him. They're followed by Keith Chapman, who takes 3rd in Class B. Mike Hooper picks up the 4th position points. Non-finishes, sadly, for Jack Williams and Peter Lloyd.
So then let's have a quick word with our top 3 in that race, starting with race winner once again. Yeah, we've got 3 now. Alan Donnelly's made it. But David, another cracking race from you out there. But again, just like race 1, it wasn't made easy. No,
that was quite tough. The SIs have got more speed on the straights. I've got slightly better speed out the slow corners. So yeah, it was really tough. It was really hard, sort of 7 or 8 laps.
And it's
not
going
so bad at the end.
That's right. It's going your way so far in 2013. 4 out of 4 now. Let's hope you can continue that at Silverstone next time out.
Yeah, well, there's not much competition in my class, so we need some more cars. I look forward to Silverstone and racing with Ian, who was very fair.
Great stuff. Well done on the victor once again, David Abbott. Second place to Ian Scruton. Ian, another great tussle from yourself and David, and you weren't letting up, were you?
I wasn't going to let up, but then again, there's a couple of places I thought, well, can I? No, I'll let him go. It's a new car. I didn't want to be the one to put it in a wall.
That's right. I think Jack Williams was with you early on, but he had a problem, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's got a few problems with the car, but he's coming along. He'll still be there. We'll still bring him through.
But just like David, you're proving consistent with 4 podiums out of 4 races.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's one far off complete sweep. Yep.
Great stuff. Well done, Ian Scruton there second. And Alan Donnelly, where do I start? First off, the start, 10th on the grid. By the end of lap 1, I think you were 3rd.
Yeah, just nailed it really. Got a cracking start, no wheel spin, and just pulled second gear and up we went. But I made a few mistakes and almost went off. Well, I did went off Coram, recovered quickly, and then tried to close up, which I did, but too late. But say I had a DNF in race 1, the wheel bearing collapsed in the back on the first lap. So I just one of those weekends, but onwards and upwards, we'll go from here.